Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Daniel and I'm the Head of Enrolments here at Fourth Rev, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the event today, where we'll have a very special guest having experienced the Product Management Career Accelerator with Kings, discuss his experience in the program very shortly. I've got a few things to get through first, and a lot to get through actually, and I'll be as succinct as I can. But I thought what I'd start with first is a thank you to everyone in attendance. You've made a decision today to arm yourself with more information surrounding what is a very important life decision. And for that, I've certainly got some things that will assist. We'll talk through a lot of the program benefits for you, and also a special offer that is available for people committing in the month of June as well. I'll get to that shortly. But it is about you. As much as it is us hearing from our special guest shortly, it is about yourself, your career decisions and options. And so for that, I encourage as much engagement as possible. And to do that, the best thing you can do is potentially introduce yourself and where you're from the chat, in the chat function. But most importantly, throughout the webinar, please put your questions in the Q&A function at the bottom. I'll be monitoring the questions as they come through and posing them to Michael. We'll reserve time toward the end of the session to answer every question that comes through. So if you have a question, please pop it in the Q&A. The chat function will be used also to deliver some assets in there that will link out to other things. But I'll start with a quick overview of the program first and foremost. And there's a bit to get through in the program because it is unique in many ways. First and foremost, it is a true collaboration between King's College London, globally renowned for their digital humanities faculty, in which this sits under industry. We partner with industry leaders to design content that has career impact for you, and obviously us here at Fourth Rev. The resultant outcome is this 6-month online part-time career accelerator that covers 3 courses and 1 live industry-facing project. So course 1, product management and strategy. Course 2, product design and development. Course 3, launching products to market, before then an applied industry project. So to frame that quickly for you, and we'll certainly have questions for Michael around his experience in the employer project, but yourself along with 5 or 6 other high caliber learners will be grouped together in a team. You'll meet with one of our industry partners such as Sky. They will present to you a product related scenario or challenge. And as a team, applying the learning from those first 3 courses, you'll come up with innovative and tangible solutions to that scenario, presenting your innovations and recommendations back to our employer partner in a consultancy style presentation. It's important that you understand also that the benefit of that is numerous. It is practical application of learning in the real world, as I've just mentioned. It is an opportunity to much more deeply network with both your peers and also leaders of industry. And lastly, if it is a career change that you're seeking, it is a much more powerful demonstration of your value to a prospective employer to demonstrate how you have that real world experience and therefore leverage that for your career outcomes, obviously, as well. A couple of other things to consider though as well. It is the first of our career accelerators that is also has a postgraduate certificate capstone option after the career accelerator. So should you choose to do the career accelerator and meet the criteria of passing with more than 60%, you'll be able to apply for the postgraduate certificate. What that means is it's an applied project in your workplace that awards a level 7 qualification from King's and all the benefits that come with that, being an alumni and so forth. Often what learners do is do the career accelerator, obtain their career outcome, and then do the postgraduate certificate when they've got that product role, if that's what you're seeking. Naturally, there's some people that are seeking to advance their existing careers as well. In addition to the learning though, you're supported in numerous ways. There's live sessions each week with the facilitator. They are recorded if you can't attend live, but always best to do so to ensure that you can ask questions relevant to yourself and your progress in that module for the week. There's also a success manager that will be your cheerleader to help you through your study plan and ensure your adherence to submission deadlines and the like. And where one of the most underrated benefits comes from is also the support of a career coach. We pride ourselves in the career coaching aspect because it is a career accelerator. It's education for career impact. And to assist leveraging that, we have a career coaching program embedded in the Career Accelerator. What that looks like is a rigorous goal setting process at the commencement of the program, one-on-one coaching with your executive career coach during the program, and the extended option of 6 months of additional coaching after, often while you're most likely to be applying for new roles and the like. When we survey our completing learners, it's always the relevance of the content and the King's brand that ranks the highest, obviously, and then closely followed by the benefits of the career coaching as well. For those of you that do stick around, I'll also mention the offer that we have with the product advantage pack. You may have already sent it in some of our emails that have been sent to you, but for those that are applying by the 20th of June this week, you do have the opportunity of unlocking industry-leading interview labs, a private Q&A with a recruiter, and access to alumni networking early as well. So I'll refresh us on that. It's about 15 hours a week. It's 100% online. As I said, there are synchronous sessions, live sessions, but the majority is asynchronous, meaning it is designed to fit in with you more so than you fitting in with university. All up, the costs of the program are £6,295, and there are a number of ways in which we can support you with that, from a reduced rate if you make upfront payments to a 6 monthly payment plan with no interest, or longer payment plans on a finance application, again with no interest. So we do try and make that accessible to all. But when you consider the intensity of the program, being 15 hours a week with Kings, the additional employer project, and that up to 12 months of executive career coaching, it's amazing value at that price point as well, to help you, be it change your career, be it advance your career in product. Lastly, before I do move on though, what is most important is also understanding of the integrated AI training that we've implemented within the program as well. For that, the AI learning track enables you to attend 4 expert-led workshops to learn the nuances of Gen AI from experts who will share practical tips and demonstrations in the series of masterclasses, practical AI learning, and proof of your AI skills in the form of your portfolio development. It's often the case that all of the work that you submit goes towards you building a portfolio of evidence. Unlike many programs that would have you do exams, we would much rather you apply the learning in a practical real world sense and have an outcome, a productive outcome to your learning through the development of your portfolio as well. So I've gone through a lot of that. I'm sure that many of you will have questions relating to much of that, but without further ado, and to stop me talking, hopefully, it is my great pleasure to welcome our guest today, who joins us all the way from Florida in America. Michael, welcome.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you. It's great to be here, and hi everyone who's attending the Ask Me Anything. It was a wonderful program, and I'm looking forward to sharing my experiences and answering questions. Just to give a little bit about myself, I've got fairly light-colored hair here, so I've been in the tech field for quite a while, as a test engineer, and later as an agile project manager and a Scrum master. And I was looking for something to really kind of hopefully get beyond the tech side of my career. I really was interested in product management and getting the whole picture of what is a product, how does it really relate to companies' goals and to solving problems for customers. And I was looking for something that was rigorous, that was well respected, and I looked at a number of programs. I mean, there are some very short-term certificates that look like they're positioned for people that are already in product management, and I didn't think that would be quite the right thing for me. I wanted something more thorough, something that would really teach me what are the basics, how to apply them, and I really got that with the program through King's and Fourth Rev. It was really on so many levels a very wonderful program.
Brilliant, thank you. And whilst we share hair color, I tend to call them wisdom tips rather than greys. So no doubt we've experienced a lot in our lives, and happy to impart that for our audience today as well. Thank you. I guess when you were looking at your options, you said you researched it thoroughly. What To drill down into that a little further? What attracted you in that decision-making process? It's a big process. It's a life decision, isn't it, to invest, but also to consider a career change. So, what were the unique points of the King's Career Accelerator that made it stand head and shoulders above the rest for you?
Well, I think first and foremost the way the program was structured and the content, the three courses, I kind of drilled into what was being offered, and definitely the employer project. It just seemed to be more thorough preparation. I had done a little bit of background learning about it on LinkedIn, and so I had some sense about what what the career was like, or what was required of the profession. And it just seemed that what King's is offering, and King's and Forthright, was really thorough and really up to date, and was matching everything that I was starting to understand from some other research I'd done. And uh, later, when I got into the program, some of the other aspects that I didn't really recognize up front, uh, the career coaching, having a success manager, having the fact that most of the material is asynchronous, and that material was presented really well. I mean, I have a graduate degree from a U.S. university, and this was on par with that. Maybe in some ways better because it's more attuned with the needs of industry. And I there was a US program I looked at too, and probably the deciding factor was the quality of of um, the material being offered, and the fact that it was a UK institution. And I thought that I would get a slightly different perspective than all my previous education would have been in the US. And that turned out to be a really exciting and interesting thing for me that I think improved my own experience, just because I'm a learner from outside Europe and outside of UK. And it was, uh, for me, that was a highlight that I didn't expect. And it was great.
That's great of you to share, and good of you to think that way too, because it would be easy to go down the known path, so to speak. So yeah, stretching yourself and outside the comfort zone, so to speak. That's an amazing experience. Now, you obviously took a break between roles, and you've obtained a product aligned role in industry. Tell us about, I guess, how you've framed your experience to obtain that role.
Yeah, I'm currently working as a project engineer slash Scrum Master for Lockheed Martin, and that role required a lot of a fairly deep technical background. Um, Obviously, some agile project management skills, which by the way, the program also focuses on. Um, and they as particularly part of the employer project, it's set up as an agile project, and you definitely learn the basic skills that you need there. Um, I think it just having having this certificate in product management really helped demonstrate that I understand the whole product life cycle. I mean, I am in a product aligned role. I'm not a product manager at this point, or a product owner, but in my coaching role as a Scrum Master, I interact with product owners, and occasionally product managers. And I'm able to help facilitate better. I'm able to coach them better because I have a better understanding. And I really think that I'm positioned to get a more of a product role, if when one becomes available, because I've got the basics, and I have got the practical experience from the employer project.
Exactly, and let's touch on that now. But our whole North Star guidance is career outcomes. We're always proud of our learners and their career outcomes, but what we also are equally as proud of is seeing them flourish even beyond their next role after they've completed the career accelerator. And we look forward to celebrating those outcomes as they occur in your career as well, Michael. You mentioned the employer project. For the audience benefit, can you walk us through what that looks like and who you did yours with? Now, I understand some projects might have a non-disclosure agreement, but if yours doesn't, who was it with, and what's the process like of working on that industry project?
Yeah, ours was with Sky, and we don't have a well, there's some real specific things we can't share, but in general speaking, it was with their online product, and we were helping to improve a certain aspect of it. And we were given very sort of a detailed overview of their design problem, and we were broken up into groups, and we basically just applied all the learning that we were given throughout the first three courses. It was very fast paced. We were broken up into 1 week sprints, which is really quick. I think it was a six weeks altogether, if I'm remembering properly. And we were closely with the facilitator. We would present information to our facilitator. He would kind of, help us adjust it if necessary before presenting it to Sky. Um, Everything went really well, and the final deliverable was a presentation that I felt really proud of. I think working in my group, all of us together really created something that I think was a little better than we were doing on our own. And it really, I've been in the work world for a while, and this was it was a job. It was a real thing. It was something that Sky could use if they chose to, and it was a lot of fun. It was it was great to practice everything that we were taught.
That's great to hear. And great experience. How did you manage the time zones? I guess from your time zone, it was mostly daytime, was it?
Yeah, most of the time it wasn't too bad. Like right now, it's early in the morning for me, but not too early. And so in most cases, if at the UK facilitated sessions were noon, that was fine. Occasionally there was one, really early morning or really late night, but there was enough flexibility, particularly in the coaching schedules and sessions with success managers, that I could find something that could work. Occasionally it was, really early, a little bit tight, a little bit hard to schedule, but not very often. Most of the time it worked out fine.
Perfect. And that's the flexibility, isn't it, of being online? Although with that project and with the shared culture we develop within Circle and all those sorts of things, it is that you might be apart, but we've created an environment in which you feel together, which is important for networking and shared learning, as you've done as you mentioned on the employer project. Was there a part of the program, Michael, that you felt it had the biggest impact on you? And if so, what was it?
Um, I think there was a series of aha moments. I mean, we were uh, going through like the three courses that you mentioned. They're all tied together, and you work on a very, very realistic project. And one of the things that kind of was a big impact on me was the value of creating a prototype, a fairly simple prototype, testing the prototype with users, and just with a little bit of interaction with the small number of users, getting so much useful information and realizing, wow, the users really know what they need, and making changes and really improving the product because of that. And that was having that experience. And there was a couple of different ways we did that, once in the first course and once in the third course. So a little bit of different kinds of testing, but that was really a neat experience for me to see that, and to put together a presentation and discuss things. I mean, that was nerve-wracking and challenging, but it was fun to have that opportunity, particularly, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say high stakes, but for the employer project, you want to look good, and you want it to be something that uh, they could use, and that they're going to take you seriously. And I think we managed that, and I feel really, really good about what we did, particularly in our employer project.
Excellent. Thank you. And just a reminder for everyone to pop your questions, as some of you have already done in the Q&A. We're going to get to them very, very shortly. Um, was there anything you struggled with during the program? It could be a skill or a time frame, or was there anything you struggled with, and how did you overcome it or get past it?
Um, I think I at first I didn't realize how much work the program was going to be. That um, I got a little bit behind in the first course, and I had to work really hard to get caught up. There's a lot of material. There's extra material if you have time. I made the mistake of going into the extra because of interest, of going into all the extra material before I was quite finished with everything I should have been done with. So uh, things got kind of tight in that first course. So I had to manage my time a little bit better. It's really thorough. There's a lot to go through. And what else? I think initially, before I got connected with other learners in the course, I felt a little bit isolated. I mean, yeah, the facilitated sessions are great. But unless you can kind of get connected with other students, you can, at least my experience was that I felt a little bit alone. But that went away as soon as I made some connections. We had some offline sessions with students, and that was a really a great thing that happened once we were able to do that.
Good to hear. Good to hear. We've actually, since you've finished as well, I noticed we've also had a number of enrollments from North America, owing to the
Mhm.
King's brand. Actually, it's quite a strong global brand, and I think this particular faculty is ranked extremely high as well. One or two more questions for me, and then we're going to get to the audience ones as well. Um, there's a often an element of undertaking a decision like this. Um, it's often called imposter syndrome. How do I go about it, or what can I do? What does it all mean? What advice would you give to someone facing imposter syndrome or self-doubt about taking that next step to enroll in a program such as this?
Yeah, that can be a real problem, and I feel that way sometimes. I think one thing, and this is something that I came into the program with, and that is emphasized a lot by the career coaches, is to have a growth mindset, is to have to understand that you're not going to understand everything up front, and you might struggle with certain aspects, and that it's worth wrestling with, it's worth working hard. You might be the sort that you part of it you do really well, you don't have to struggle, but other parts you might find just not getting it right away and having to keep pushing, and just that it's worth the effort, that most things, in life are like that, that if really valuable things take effort, and that this will take effort to get through it. It is a lot of work, but it's well structured and you're well supported. And if you if you commit yourself and put in the work, you'll get through it. You'll.
Excellent advice. Um, Anything good is worth the work behind it, isn't it? So let's get to the audience questions. Always a highlight as well because they're always diverse. Amy, thank you for your contribution, Amy. Amy has asked, when is the next intake? The next intake upcoming commences on the 14th of July. Applications are limited in the sense that we cap our enrolment numbers for all of our career accelerators for two reasons. One is a capacity constraint, but also if we were to open this up for hundreds of enrolments, we would need to look at the way in which we structure the employer project and potentially have more learners on that, Amy. So instead of having 15 learners on a project team, you've got that five or six, making it a much more realistic and, ensuring that your roles and responsibilities within that team provide you the value that you expect as well. There's 2 weeks of onboarding and then the learning starts thereafter. So 14th of July, and that special offer will close this week. The best thing that you can do, Amy, is certainly book a time with your enrolment advisor if you haven't already. There's an amazing team of enrolment advisors to support you, and then we'll guide you through the next steps of the process and explain the early application incentive as well. One for you, Michael. Um, if there's no, and this is from anonymous, but if there's no exams, how are you assessed?
Oh, you are definitely assessed.
Yeah.
And this was something that surprised me because it's different from my previous education. The the assignments are challenging. You're producing, go-to-market plans, you're producing professional documents, and you're graded on a rubric. And the rubric is very specific, and you'll be graded against that. And if you don't fulfill the requirements of the rubric, you won't get a good grade. I mean, uh, you're I think it's as effective or perhaps more effective than an exam, because you're producing a product that has to meet a certain level of quality and have a certain number of has to be usable. I guess maybe I'm not explaining this very well, but the rubric guarantees that you're going to do that, and it's as rigorous as any kind of exam, I would think.
That's a really good point. And the benefit of that is the productive nature of the work that you do. I don't know anyone that would take an exam. Two things about exams. I don't think there's anyone that would take an exam to an interview. Yet the work that you do contributes to a portfolio that you'd be proud to demonstrate to a potential employer. And secondly, I learnt this a long, long time ago. With an examination process, what often isn't the case is the feedback on where you went wrong. So you might get 88 out of 100, but where did you lose those 12 points or that 12%? To go back, you've demonstrated what you know and what you don't know, but there isn't always a process to go and find out the answers to the questions you got wrong, which to me, you've demonstrated that you don't know. So here you get feedback from industry relevant conveners and the support that you receive, and that also enhances your learning. I take it, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is, while there is an academic component to it, there really is a practical side of it. You're trying to propose a particular product or enhancement to a product, and there's a lot of things that you have to get right. And there's some things that it's a little bit difficult to get sometimes with the metrics that are used, and KPIs and things like that. And sometimes it seems like it should be simple to hook them all together, but it's not always clear. And the feedback from the facilitator was just key in really helping us understand what all this means. Really, yeah, that the facilitator was key to our learning.
Excellent. And industry experience, which is most important as well. The next question we've got here, is the course fully online? Yes, it's 100% online. Obviously, Michael conducted his learning from Florida. What time are the sessions? They vary. The live sessions are generally over lunchtime UK time. The day in which they occur might vary intake to intake, but you'll get a full rundown and calendar of that. And then the majority of learning is asynchronous, meaning that you choose when and how study fits in with your life as opposed to fitting in with a timetable. And they've asked also, and then what is the application process? I didn't mention earlier the criteria. It is aimed at postgraduate level, and certainly taking the postgraduate certificate option after the Career Accelerator is a master's level qualification. 1/3 of a master's being a postgraduate certificate. So it is a requirement to have a bachelor's degree as a minimum, or there are ways in which you can demonstrate your professional experience in lieu of that. Again, it would need to be an individual discussion with your friendly enrolment advisor. So the requirement is a previously completed bachelor degree or relevant work experience to overcome that. The application process is really simple. You upload your transcript, your CV, and your identity document, and your enrolment advisor, if you haven't spoken with them already, will reach out to have a brief discussion and answer any specific questions you may have. Also to guide you in the next steps of the process, such as receiving a letter of offer and your deposit invoice. The deposit secures your placement. For the upfront discount, we can, for example, invoice only at a 10% deposit with the balance paid before the course commences, and you still obtain the fee concession of £500 as well. Thank you for that question from the audience. Amy's got another one. Thanks you for your continued interest, Amy. Amy, I'm in a different industry, worried to make career switch. Is that possible? And what should I expect? Great question. I'm going to answer a bit of this, and Michael, your experience helps us understand this further. I would suspect that about 60 to even closer to 70% of our learners are career changers. The rest being career advances, looking to move from, say, a physical product management into a digital role or something similar to that, or current product manager looking to enhance their skills and take the next step. So you're amongst friends, Amy. Secondly, I don't think there's many professions in which people come from that don't have transferable skills. And the coaching aspect of the program really enhances you, it really enables you to enhance and showcase your transferable skills. We've had teachers, we've had food and hospitality, people from a hospitality background in understanding customer aspects and angles. Um, you know, that's the key. I really think that is the key. So you're when you're looking at stakeholder management and things like that, those transferable skills from many industries and roles previously are invaluable. And employers are looking for that. They're not just looking for someone that's completed a product management course or things like that. They're looking for well-rounded individuals that understand the business impact of an effective product manager. And in fact, I hosted a AI in product webinar that I might ask Sam to post in the chat as well. But that's a really invaluable one to dive a little bit deeper into employer what employers are looking for and the AI advantage in this particular program. So Amy, even if you wanted to reach out to me directly and have a conversation, I'd be happy to do so. But Michael, anything to add there relating to demonstrating or showcasing your transferable skills that the coaches took you through, for example?
Yeah, I think that that is really key. And like you said, there are a lot of transferable skills. I'm in a product adjacent role, and I'm not quite in that product role, so the transfer isn't complete yet for me. But yeah, it's definitely doable, and I think uh, having the program gives you the basic knowledge that you need and the experience with the employer project. And if you bring transferable skills, you'll get there. It might take a little longer than you think, but you will get there.
If you're happy sharing, Amy, or feel free to send me a direct message if you can. I'd love to know what sector you're coming from and give you some examples of people that have had success previously. Amy, thank you. Anonymous has asked what support is given after the course. That ties in with Amy's question too, in a way, because when we launched the career accelerators, we had the 6 months of career coaching during the program. Based on the learner feedback, what we've done is extend that now, the career coaching aspect to beyond the program, because we ran we ran as a test extended coaching earlier this year, and it was so successful in seeing learners actually not only obtain the value of the coaching during the program to set strategies to clarify the goals, to understand some of the things that they can be doing early on in the piece to obtain. And some of the career accelerators are really technical that we have. Obviously, some of the, like this one, are less so. But then the extended coaching post the program enables you to pick up that one-on-one coaching whilst you're applying for roles. Many learners will want to do the learning, then focus on the job outcomes thereafter. Many learners obtain their career outcome during. Don't get me wrong; it depends on your individual circumstances. But you'll also be supported with continuous opportunities to attend live events too. So the AI masterclasses are also open to our alumni. And we have networking opportunities within our alumni network, within our online portal that'll be opening up for you as well. So you do get a lot of support, especially with the one-on-one coaching continuing for 6 months post the completion of the program. A lot of it also is self-driven. Michael, you may not have been able to, given the distance, participate in some of the organic meetups that occurred, for example, with
Mhm.
students in Europe. They'd go and meet. There's initiatives, and look, the product community, be it with Fourth Rev or be it with external, LinkedIn and things like that, is actually a really open door in many ways. And I mean, there's even one in London that I think I would like, and it's called Product and Pints, and they go and have pints and talk products. That's right up my alley, I think. So it's up to you to make the most of the opportunity too, through engaging in the forums in which you can discuss these types of things whilst you're a learner, participating in events that might be hosted, be it virtually or in person if you're able to, and continuing that and extending your networking and your activities within the product community. Just to let everyone know as well, one thing that's been really successful with the coaching as well is the career sprint. So it's not just one-on-one coaching. What we've also developed over our time is the opportunity of innovating in that coaching space. So the coaches will now host career sprints, and there might be up to 6, 8, 10, or a dozen of you that attend regular career sprints together to share learning essentially. We know that there's value in that process. You might be, if you are on campus at King's, you might go and have a coffee and say, I had a job interview yesterday and I did really well here and I didn't do so well there. That's shared learning. So we do that in the form of career sprints. And what they are in addition to your one-on-one coaching, you can attend these sprint sessions where you'll be sharing the learning, but also taking away concrete actions to do. And it could be anything. It could be, I didn't I didn't reach out to expand my network this week. I'm going to come back next week with 10 LinkedIn invitations that I've sent and feedback what worked and what didn't. It could be that I'm going to share, I've got an interview this Friday and I'm going to report back, and share the learning on what I did well and what I feel I could improve on. It's that sort of thing where there's concrete actionable outcomes for you in a close series of weekly or so meetings, ensuring that you learn from others' experience and share yours as well, but also take commitment away from them to take action. And that's the key as well. So there's a lot of that for Anonymous that asked that question. Uh, Vidushi, thank you. Can we enroll for the Career Accelerator and the postgraduate certificate together? Essentially, yes. We do have a bundle option available to you. And again, speak with your enrollment advisor. However, the only thing I'll mention is that your acceptance from King's into the postgraduate certificate option is reliant on you obtaining a certain score during the Career Accelerator. If you weren't to obtain the score, which really, with the support that we provide, everyone predominantly passes. But if you were to get below 60, I think it is, out of 100, it might need to be presented to King's as an edge case. But failing that, you pass it, you can apply and they're in. There's 2 intakes per year of the postgraduate certificate, and it's a brilliant way to extend your learning further to obtain one of the only postgraduate qualifications globally in product management, but also have an applied project in your workplace, or we can give you a practical, real business case scenario in which to work on, a real product to work on. But it's made up of 3 components for everyone's benefit. There's the project that you do in your workplace, so you get a productive outcome from your education once again. There's the academic reflection that you do then on the learning outcomes of that project, and a very short presentation bringing both items together. So there's 3 components. It's structured very differently than the Career Accelerator. It's very much self-paced. You have I think it's between 2 and 6 months to complete. You're supported with Professor Michael from King's in that, and there's an industry mentor as well. There's not the same cohort experience, and there's not an employer project. It's very much self-paced and self-directed in that regard. But at the end, you get a level 7 qualification from King's College London in product management. So Vidishi, thank you for your question. Please book a time to speak about bundling the options together and receiving the benefit of that as well. John, next question. How practical is the learning? What can I expect in a week? You work 12 to 14 hours a day. You want to upskill, so I already have experience. Brilliant, John. I'm going to hand to Michael about the practical nature of the learning and what a typical week looks like, I guess, in the life of a learner.
Yeah, it's quite practical. The particularly the employer project at the end, the first 3 courses give you the basic skills that you need to understand how product management is done, and you do I think I mentioned earlier, you do kind of a simulated project, but it's very realistic, and you create a lot of deliverables for that project. And when you get to the employer project with your group, it's as if you're, it's a real thing. I mean, it's you have a problem to solve, you propose your solutions, you do your testing with users, you present both a very detailed report for the employer and do a presentation. Um, and it's something that they could go ahead and implement if they chose to. It's that level of work. Maybe practical on the day to day. If I understood that part of the question, it's good to try to set a schedule for yourself. That it's not an overwhelming amount of material, but there is a lot, and you have to keep up with it. And I would say do at least half an hour per day if you can. Maybe some days more, some days less. Uh, you do have to fit it in with your work if you are working or if you are searching for a role. So um, yeah, it's there are some things that you have to do to make sure that you get through the program. And I think what the program gives you is very practical. The artifacts that you produce, particularly for the employer project, for your portfolio, and the coaching, I should say, is really helpful. It does help with your CV. It helps with your LinkedIn profile, things like that. So I think the whole program, it's academically grounded and it's sound, but it's also very practical.
Yeah. And John, it sounds like you might already be in a product related role. So good on you for looking to extend your learning. And if that's the case, this will certainly help you identify any gaps and fill them, both rigorously with as Michael said, the academic rigor, but also the practical application of the learning. John, Michael also mentioned earlier, John, that you you can say, for example, you're going through one of the first three units and there's a choice of business case scenarios in which to apply the learning to. Some people could choose one and move on, and that might be what you do. And Michael, you mentioned you went, even in the research phase of the units, you've got those choices. You can go down a bit of a rabbit hole and extend your learning. That might not be something that you need necessarily, John, as much as someone that might be studying during a career break that might want to go down every rabbit hole and certainly extend their learning that way. AI, obviously, the inclusion of AI, John, will hopefully assist a great deal, and I'd employ to watch that webinar as well. So if you do want a discussion, feel free to reach out to your enrolment advisor or myself. We'd love to assist you and celebrate your success in the program as well. Um, we've we're coming close to time, but if there's any last questions that the audience may have, please do pop them in. I just wanted to reiterate also that for a very limited time, by the 20th of June, if you register, submit your application, you'll unlock that industry leading interview lab where you'll actually go through a process of understanding what key organisations do in interviewing for product managers and the like, to get real insights into how to prepare, how to position your transferable skills as we spoke about earlier and the like. You'll have a private Q&A with a recruiter, so you'll also get insights from a specific industry recruiter or product or digital product recruiter where they'll give you insights into how to frame that, how to structure things. This all gets covered also obviously during the course in the career coaching, but it's great to hear from recruiters specifically as they might have resume scraping techniques that you want to either embrace or avoid when structuring your resume. There's all sorts of different things that go on now, obviously, that you'd be needing to be aware of. And alumni networking, it is brilliant to network with our alumni. They're so passionate, like we've heard from Michael today, in sharing their knowledge and experiences, and also welcoming you as a current learner in the King's program. That does require your pretty immediate action, though. There is an application link that Sam will put in the chat again now. So if you wanted to apply, your enrolment advisor will reach out and you won't miss out on that. Or if you haven't yet already, you can also book a time with your enrolment advisor. Michael, before we go though, Any last pieces of wisdom or advice for the audience considering enrolling in the King's Product Management Career Accelerator?
Yeah, I guess I would say if you're considering this program, it's definitely worth your consideration. I think it was definitely the right choice for me. I would say look at your career goals, look at what you want to do, and see if the program fits. I think if you want to move into product management or move from physical product management to digital, I think this is one of the best ways, maybe the best way to do it. Um, just interrogate yourself, see what your skills are, you know, determine are you ready to put in the real work required to make it through and do well. I mean, I think you can pass without uh, an extreme amount of work, but if you really want to do well and learn as much as you can, there is a commitment involved, and just see, are you ready for that? And I don't know, just reach out to people, just like you're doing here, do this kind of thing and see if it's a fit. And I think if you're prepared to make a commitment to it and to work hard, I think you won't regret it. I think you will enjoy the process and get something valuable out of it.
That's sage advice. I love that. And it is a commitment. There are sacrifices that need to be made when considering, an intensive program such as this with Kings. And what I also recommend people to do on top of what Michael's mentioned there is speak to those that may be impacted by your commitment. It's brilliant to, speak to your partner or your children and share the pride in which you'll experience in being accepted at King's. But secondly, paint the picture for them as to the job satisfaction you'll get as through being a product manager. It is a very rewarding way in which to future-proof your career because it's in such high demand, obviously. And I don't see that abating anytime soon. Harness the option of learning AI skills in product. It will set you apart, but also take the next step. The next step is the one after you've taken today, and that's to take action, be it book a call, be it submit your application, or be it arm yourself with additional information. But one thing to do next is to take a next step. It's a case of in 12 months' time, do you want to be asking yourself the question, I wish I had have made the change? Or will you be telling yourself, I'm so glad I made the change and this is a great step towards that? So I thank you all. Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for your insights and getting up so early to join us all the way from Florida. May your career trajectory continue in the vein that it has both pre and post the program, but we certainly look forward to celebrating your next career outcome as well as we have this one.
Great. Thanks, Daniel. And thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam, as always in the background. And thanks to all those in attendance. It's our pleasure to bring these events on a regular basis to you. Our YouTube channel is full of similar AMAs, Ask Me Anythings, but also a number of really high value events that we've hosted, be it masterclasses or be it panel discussions on product related topics. So dive into that. And we look forward to welcoming, supporting and celebrating your career success as a product manager. Thank you all and have a great day.